Welcome, guys, to the Cricket Arena 2023 Pavilion. Very honoured to be joined with Arfan and the top four captains, Munazam, Nasser, Shohaib, and Awais. So, welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So, I thought the first point at hand would be the points table. The current standings are found by, let me just bring that in front of you so you have good access.
We've got Firth Warriors, played 7, won 5 and lost 2, and they had a terrible start. But
much like Australia.
well, that's exactly what Shohaib said. He says, "Oh, we're Australian. We're going to lose a couple of early games. Let other team feel that they have the upper hand, and then we're just going to come back and demolish everyone." And he's stuck by his word, and he's doing well, mashallah.
I mean, the thrashing that was given to them by Munazam's team, all-star team, international stars team, I should say.
Yep.
I think the net run rate at that point was -6. So it's quite remarkable that they've made a comeback and now positioned themselves with a net rate of 2.3 almost.
Yeah.
So followed by Burngreave Tigers, a very young team, I should add. I think several 2-3 under-19 players in that team. They've done actually a fantastic job consistently in the last few years. And, I can tell that they are probably the most enthusiastic team in terms of if you look at who warms up most actively before games.
And they walk in the same time.
And the way, so, they have a lot going for them in terms of young raw talent, raw pace. Followed by Firvale Falcons. I'll let you speak a bit about Firvale Falcons.
Firvale Falcons, they placed third, only due to obviously run rate. It's only run rate that splits them from first, second, and third and fourth. Firvale, I think they've been fantastic. Like I said, the captain signed all the pros. He's got a lot of sponsors, plus obviously funding from his own business that he's invested in.
I think it'd be slightly unfair to say that he's there just because of superstars. Look at Firth Park. They've got Hamza Yunus. They've got Sakib, etc. Also who've played indoor extensively. And some of these superstars were actually in my team previously as well, but we didn't have much success. So, as a captain, he must be doing something to inspire them to win. Getting over the line is not easy. Outside superstars are not always inside.
Well, when the money is involved, and it's always inspiring, so obviously when you're getting paid good money, so you expect the players to perform, don't you?
He must have some very good sponsors.
Well, he has. He's got the Mr. Potatoes on his shirt. He's dressed up. He's advertising his sponsors while on broadcast, so he's not missing any opportunities. Well done to him.
And it's his first time leading in the league as well. So
it's not easy. It's not easy though. Saying it obviously where they are. When you got all these superstars in your team and being a captain, it's a big task. And you know what, he's done well. So hats off to him.
And finally, we have Handsworth striker, and very lucky Nasser, who's taken over the captaincy for the last few games. And to be honest, he has been the backbone of the team. We will talk about stats in more detail later on for the viewers. But currently, they're in the semi-finals, and they'll be facing Firvale Falcons. So it will be definitely. I think Firvale Falcons should go in with a clear mind, try to dominate as they have in many of their games. But they should try to make sure that if they're trying to, bowl too aggressively, they'll leak too many wides. And if someone like Nasser decides to settle in and they get 70-80, trust me, I think that target can be very difficult come knockout games, because you've been in knockout before. The pressure increases double-fold. And we've seen a lot of games going up to 130 and 140. I don't think you're going to see those kind of high scoring games in the knockout stages.
First of all, Handsworth for me, they've been standout team. A team that's, I think, it's their first season.
They've played before, but I think they were off.
It's a new team. Yeah. It's a new team, and I think they've been fantastic to make it playoffs. So but I think Handsworth lacking bowling. The batting is very good, but I think the bowling is not just their weak department. So going into against Firvale, who've got all these top batsmen, I think they will struggle. Personally, that's my opinion, but. You know what, on the day you can't tell still.
Absolutely, and the captains have been very quiet so far. I want to bring them into the conversation. Firstly, thank you once again for coming here. We'll start with the bottom again. We'll start with the Handsworth, because we were just talking about you, Nasser, and bringing in some of the raw figures here. You are currently on 189 runs, strike rate 150, very healthy strike rate, averaging 47. My question for you is, when you're having your team meetings, what's the plan if you get out early, you know? And secondly, in terms of your batting order, are you going to change anything come the semi-finals, or are you going to stick with what you've been doing throughout?
Well, to be honest, we did have a few meetings about this, and first thing I want to point out is that the plan that I put out is that basically once I get out, the one thing I relay the message to the batsmen is one thing I tell them is bat the full 12 overs, because when you bat full 12 overs, you never know if you can get a good score. That's my philosophy. Whenever I play, whether it's indoor or outdoor, you got to bat the full overs. Because if you just try to play brainless cricket and start slogging everything, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to fold for 50, 60 runs. Rather than if you bat full 12 overs, who knows, you can push that 50, 60 runs to 120. So that's the philosophy I follow. And what was the
very, very good philosophy. And the second question was about the batting order. You're going to mix anything up? Because we've seen in previous few leagues, things do get changed around. If you remember from Shohaib's bowling attack changing in the semi-final against your team at that point. Are you going to make any sudden changes, or are you going to keep that as a surprise come the day?
I think I'll keep it as a surprise, because it all depends on the situation as well. It all depends on the bowlers that they have as well on the day. We always have a specific plan for individuals as well, so we'll keep that as a surprise. For sure.
So, Nasser, you're obviously missing your skipper, Munazam, who's gone away on holiday. So who's going to be replacing him? Because obviously he's a big, as a leader as well, and as a big player. So have you got a replacement for him who's going to come in and take his role, or?
Well, it's between two players.
Okay.
So it's between Afzal and Majid.
All right.
Because they're the only two players that played two or more games.
Qualified, all right.
So it's going to be between them two. But it's a very close shout between the two, because they're both very able cricketers. So we'll
big
find
gap
out.
to fill, really, I think.
Definitely.
It is.
I
But
think
Afzal, I've seen him obviously play in other leagues, and I think he's a good
on the
player.
day, definitely.
He's a good player as well.
Talking, I think, more specifically about the squad that Munazam has. Question for you, final question for you, Nasser.
Yeah.
Do you have any plan for the superstars in the form of Amir, Azim Bawa? They're going to come full throttle. And we're talking about a ball with seam on it. And when Amir, he does it rarely, but when he pitches it fuller, there is some movement there. So, what's your plan to deal with that?
Each batsman have their own plans. So my advice or my plan for the for the players is basically just go out and play a game. My plan, obviously, is just do what I do best, is basically counter-attack. So I'll play better when I counter-attack. So that's my game. But other batsmen, they will have their own plans. So let's see on the day.
We don't want to create too much of a hostile environment or anything, but do you have any final words for Munazam before we move on to him? In anticipation of the semi-final, do you have a message for him to go home and reflect on?
Just before the meeting, as we were approaching here, Nasser said that he did message Munazam saying that if you're struggling financially, signing any more superstars, I will fund you. So, that's confidence from Nasser saying, look,
Absolutely.
You can bring whoever you want. We're ready to face it. So, I think he's all ready to go.
That's some very high level sledging. You're definitely probably trying to get into his mind there. So he will definitely have to not only think about his players, but the budget as well at the same time. So, no worries. Well, coming on to Munazam, we're going to give you the opportunity to reply. Do you prefer to speak in English or Urdu? What do you feel more comfortable with?
Urdu.
Okay, ठीक है. Arfan भाई, I'll let you. आप अगर शुरुआत कर रहे हैं हमारे लिए.
अच्छा, मुनज़्ज़म भाई, so आपका as a captain, this is your first season as a captain. How's your आपका जो पूरा tournament गया कैसे गया? माशाल्लाह आपने बहुत अच्छा perform तो बहुत अच्छा किया है.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, as a captain, मतलब is not easy to like इतने जो मेरे पास mostly जो players है, alhamdulillah बड़े नाम है उनके. So उनको like अपने under captaincy में खिलाना is not easy, but still I'm happy to run it.
So सवाल है आपसे ये कि जब इतने बड़े नाम होते हैं और obviously ये जो खेले हुए हैं इनका एक्सपीरियंस इतना, तो ये क्या इन्वॉल्व होते हैं आपकी डिसीजन मेकिंग में, या आप खुद ही جو فیصلہ کرتے ہیں اس پہ اسٹک کرتے ہیں یا آپ ایز اے
نہیں جب کوئی بھی ایسا بات ہے نا بولنگ چینج میں ہم سب مطلب مل کے بات کرتے ہیں کہ کس کو دینی چاہیے کیونکہ مجھے اتنا ایکسپیرینس نہیں ہے ایز اے انڈور مطلب BBICL میں لاسٹ ایئر ون ہوا ہوں منی کپ پر وہ منی لیگ تھی اور از اے ٹوٹلی ڈفرینٹ تھنگ. سو میں اگر کسی ڈیسیجن میں کنفیوز ہوں تو میں احمد سے پوچھ لیتا ہوں یا فصیح احمد ہے احمد لائک وہ تو بچے ہیں میں اگر مطلب میں اسٹرگل کروں کہ اس بیٹسمین کے علاوہ مجھے کون سا بولر یوز کرنا ہے پھر میں عامر ہے اس سے پوچھ لیتا ہوں یا انیس کو اتنا ایکسپیرینس نہیں عامر کو تھوڑا زیادہ ایکسپیرینس ہے.
سو آپ کے لیے ایک لرننگ ایکسپیرینس ہے کپتانی کا بھی آپ سیکھ بھی رہے ہیں کپتانی وچ از بہت اچھا ہے. تو جو آپ کے جو انویسٹمنٹ ہم نے کیا تو لیڈرشپ میں بھی اس کا فائدہ ہو رہا ہے آپ کو.
میں ایک سوال ضرور پوچھنا چاہوں گا کہ آپ کا جو آخری میچ تھا ویری سرپرائزنگ فار ایوری ون ایکچولی. ہم نے یہ دیکھا کہ آپ نے جو باٹم ٹیم تھی ڈانل ڈائنامائٹس ود آل ڈیو ریسپیکٹ ٹو ڈانل ڈائنامائٹس اینڈ دے پلیئرز آپ ان کے خلاف کافی اسٹرگل کر رہے تھے. اور میں اگر ایک خاص چیز کو نوٹ کروں آپ کی اٹینشن کے لیے لاؤں آپ کی فیلڈنگ کافی مجھے نازک لگ رہی تھی خاص طور جہاں آپ کھڑے تھے سلپ ایریا میں دیکھ رہا تھا.
سلیپ ایریا کا ایسا ہے نا آپ بال کو جج نہیں کر سکتے کیونکہ جب وہ بال بلے سے لگ کر آتی ہے نا وہ اسپن ہوتی ہے کہ آپ کو پتہ نہیں چلتا کہ وہ بال جائے گی کدھر. اور دوسری ڈانر وہ بھی کھیلنے آئے ہیں ظاہر ہے وہ ان کو زیادہ ایکسپیرینس ہے. ہم مطلب ہمیں پتہ تھا ہم ٹاپ آف دا ٹیبل ہے اگر ہم لوز بھی ہو جائے ہمیں کوئی پرواہ نہیں کیوں ہمارا رن ریٹ نہیں تھا ہم ٹاپ آف دا ٹیبل تھا. اور عامر بھائی سے ہماری بات ہے عامر بھائی نے بولا یار ایز اے فرینڈلی کرو انجوائے کرو جتنے تو آج میں بھی اسپن کروں کیوں عامر بھائی نارملی فاسٹ کرتے ہیں. تو وہ کہتے ہیں چلو میں بھی آج اسپن کرتا ہوں اگر جیت جاتے جتنے تو انہیں بھی مطلب یہ بھی کھیلنا ہے ایک میچ بھی نہیں جیتا. تو ہم نے کہا ٹھیک ہے چلو ایز اے فرینڈلی کھیلتے اگر جیتنے تو انہیں اگر جیت جاتے.
یہ یہاں سوال ہوگا کہ یہ ڈبل رابن ہوڈ راؤنڈ ہے it's called double robin hood what's it called the fact that we're having round robin round مطلب کہ جو ٹاپ دو ٹیمیں ان کو 2 چانس ملتا ہے. تو آپ نے یہ نہیں سوچا تھا کہ اگر ہم ہار گئے تو
ہمیں پتا تھا پر ہمیں یہ نہیں مطلب ہماری جب میٹنگ ہوئی نا سارے پلیئرس کی ہمیں یہ نہیں پتا تھا کہ نیدرائٹ 100+ رن سے ہار جائے گی فرتھ پارک سے اور آؤٹ آف برج 126 سم تھنگ رن سے ہار جائے گی برنگریو سے. تو ہم نے ایک طرح ہم نے کہا چلو ہم نے کہا وہ بھی کھیلنا ہے تو آخری میچ ہے ان کا چلو جتنے جو وہ بھی کانفیڈنس سے جائیں گے کیونکہ نیکسٹ ایئر
چیریٹی سمجھ لیں.
This obviously shows you that look obviously jokes apart but you know when you're playing and you work so hard you know to get to the top 2 places so you could have 2 chances. You know you can't be
underestimate never underestimate.
Oh you know you can't relax even going to last game. This is just cost them you know it could cost them the cup because had they been in top 2 you got more chance of getting into final and
it's the one
bring Nasser into it with his vast experience from 2017.
So it's like you know like what Shohaib said it was 100%. It all depends on the day as well. So no matter who you have on paper, it all depends on the day. If you play good cricket, you will win.
No, but that's different. Obviously, you know, anybody can beat anybody.
Of course, yeah.
But obviously, like you said, you know, like Amir Shahzad, he started bowling spin. So obviously, you're relaxed and you know you're not taking the other game. You're not even respecting your position. Say no. So. Obviously, the tactics, you know, obviously.
But that's what they should have planned before.
I think it's custom.
Yeah, but that's the plan they should have made. You know, they should always have a plan before they go. So you know, when we go out with a plan. So when it's like for example, we played against Pajol, the last game. So our aim was to at least finish second. So we wanted to win on a good margin. So you know, if we do win, but win on a good margin. So that way we can stay second. So there's always a plan. So you've always got to go with
it. I guess obviously they learn from the mistakes.
Coming back to Munazam bhai کیونکہ ہم نے باقی کیپٹنس کو بھی لانا ہے وہ بڑے خاموش وہاں بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں. منظم بھائی اس بات میں کوئی شک نہیں کہ آپ کے پاس میرے خیال میں پروبلی بیسٹ بولنگ اٹیک آرگیوبلی بیسٹ بولنگ اٹیک آپ کے پاس ہے. لیکن میں جب آپ کی بیٹنگ کو دیکھتا ہوں پیپر پہ بہت اچھی ہے کوئی شک نہیں لیکن پرفارمنس میں کوئی بیٹنگ آپ کے پاس کوئی ٹاپ 10 بیٹسمین نہیں ہے. تو آپ کو کیا لگتا ہے کہ یہ آپ کے لیے شاید پرابلم ہو سکتا ہے سیمی فائنل کے دن آپ شاید بہت اچھی بولنگ کریں لیکن آپ جب بیٹنگ کے لیے آئیں تو آپ کا شاید کولیپس ہو جائے. تو آپ کس طرح ڈیل کر رہے ہیں ایسی ایک سچویشن شروع ہوئی؟
ان آف ڈے ہم تو کوئی نہیں مطلب پتہ تو نہیں ہے فیوچر کا کون کتنی پرفارمنس دے دے کون کتنی. جیسے لاسٹ ویک ہمارا ایک پلیئر آیا تھا عثمان بننا بھائی انہوں نے آئی تھنک 40 مار دیا تھا 15-16 بالوں میں. इन लोगों को पता नहीं होता ये एक अकेले हम यहाँ तक जीते ना मतलब मोस्टली ये हुआ कि मतलब एक प्लेयर ने परफॉर्म कर दिया एक प्लेयर मतलब काफ़ी मैच हुए जैसे हमारा पहला मैच था अगेंस्ट पाकपा सो अनीस ने अच्छी बैटिंग और बॉलिंग में बहुत अच्छी की है उन्होंने क्योंकि वहाँ पे भी हम आई थिंक 36 चेयर्स करना था हमें और वो भी आसिफ इमरान और इन्होंने बहुत हार्ड कर दिया था वैसे हमारे पास जो नॉर्मल है ना सब ऑलराउंडर्स है तो मुझे इतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है क्योंकि हमें
परेशानी नहीं है आपको
कि मुझे पता है कि एक मैच चलेगा एंड ऑफ दूसरा चल जाएगा
तो एक सवाल जानने से पहले आपकी टैक्टिक्स क्या होगी अगर आप डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं कि बोलना चाहते हैं
अगर आप सीक्रेट भी रखना है तो कोई मसला नहीं
आपकी आप जब जाएंगे इस मैच में जो आगे आएगा तो आपकी क्या अपनी स्ट्रेंथ पे जाएंगे बॉलिंग करेंगे पहले या आप सोचेंगे हमारी बैटिंग थोड़ी कमजोर है पहले स्कोर
या पैट कमिंस की तरह पिच को जाके पहले देखेंगे कि क्या जू शायद आए बाद में पसीने चलना शुरू हो जाते हैं गर्मी आएगी
दूसरा काम ना शुरू कर दें एक दिन पहले जा जाए देखें पिच फोटो खींच लें कि कोई लीग वाला कोई
नहीं वो नहीं पर मेरे ये मतलब हमारी जब मीटिंग हुई ना एज ए टीम मीटिंग हुई तो उन्होंने बोला कि सेमीफाइनल फाइनल में ये बहुत एम होता है जो आपका अगर आप अच्छा स्कोर लगाते बोर्ड पे तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट भी होता है अगर आपके पास अच्छी बॉलिंग है आपको मस्त पहले बैटिंग करनी चाहिए क्योंकि आपके पास पता है आपके पास बॉलिंग है जो बहुत डिपेंड कर सकती है और स्पेशली जैसे दौरान में पहले बात कर रहे थे क्योंकि ऐसे जो टॉप 4 मैच आ जाते हैं नॉकआउट मैच में इसमें जो स्कोर कार्ड का प्रेशर होता है वो बहुत होता है तो अगर आपको पता है आपके पास बेस्ट बॉलिंग है तो आपको पता है ये डिपेंड कर सकती है अगर मतलब 80 प्लस भी हो जाए तो मेरे ख्याल से ये विनिंग स्कोर है
चलो एंड इनकी सक्सेस भी रही है वैसे ऐसे
नहीं वो
बट चलो विद टाइम इन माइंड अगर आपको कोई फाइनल मैसेज हो उन्होंने आपको तो ज़ाहिर है बड़ा ज़बरदस्त एक मैसेज दिया है व्हिच आई डिडंट नो अबाउट बट आप भी कोई मैसेज देना चाहेंगे आप समझ रहे हैं एज अ कैप्टन कुछ तो देना पड़ता है
कहते हैं कोई वार्निंग देनी हो या
कोई फिजिकल होने की जरूरत नहीं है
नहीं मैंने क्या वार्निंग दी मैं एक्चुअली मेरा पहला साल है मैं खुद इन सब से सीख रहा हूँ अभी क्योंकि वार्निंग बंदा उन्हें देता है जो मतलब दुश्मन हो यहाँ हम एज ए फ्रेंडली खेल रहे हैं आई नो मैच जीतना ही नहीं हर किसी की कोशिश होती है मैच जीतना पर होगा वही जो अल्लाह को मंजूर होगा
modesty चलो very good to see माशाल्लाह
so we just get back to the
हम
main
देखते हैं कि अगले कुछ सालों में भी ऐसे बोलेंगे कि नहीं अच्छा coming back now to some of the more vocal players let's say and I'll let you speak about Burngreave Tigers and their current predicament let's say
so we've got big win last year Burngreave obviously came against Pavilion Awais spoke far too much which you couldn't digest and obviously questioned the game and embarrassment in which we see him in during first time in the history of BCCL that there was a mankind which obviously done by the skipper if you could remember so yeah it's a big game obviously two very strong teams I think Firth Park like I said they've just clicked and they've just on the peak whereas Burngreave have gone opposition they've had a really good start and then they've had a couple of defeats
not so great
so not good so
yeah so and my key question would be that Burngreave Tigers they won the cup once but they seem to choke quite a bit and I mean against your team if you look just on paper you had a fantastic team against Arfan but Arfan I mean he had a fantastic innings himself but it seems that maybe it's because you're very young you have 2-3 young players you seem to not perform so well under pressure when it comes to those knockout stages. Are you doing anything differently this year around to tackle those nerves, to calm your players down as a captain?
I mean, obviously last year was a good game, good anticipation, but this year, as you've mentioned before, there's a round robin, so we've got a chance. So I feel with that, going into the game, both teams as well, because I think you get a chance. They're going to play good cricket, it's going to be good cricket, but I don't think there's as much pressure there as they would. And obviously now we've been in the situation before, we know how to handle it, we've played, and for some reason, wherever Burngreave played, there's always pressure from the crowd, from everywhere. So I think we've got used to it now, and yeah, it should be good.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily, you've had the crowd on your side quite often, that hasn't been a problem, maybe not this year round. And I don't think the crowd will be supporting you, What I would say too is your batting. I have definitely some questions about there. You seem to be heavily reliant on Bilal and Jawad. My question is, if they fall cheaply, what's your plan there?
I mean,
are you going to promote yourself up the order if one of them gets out really soon? to kind of like settle things down, anchor the innings?
Oh,
Or
we
you want to
want-
keep that secret for now?
No, 100%. Like you said, we rely. But I wouldn't say we rely on them, because if you look at the game scorecard, we've had games where other players have, pulled through and they've given the score. But on paper, name wise, yes, they're the bigger players. Bilal, he's the most renowned batsman, you say. But I wouldn't say we're heavily relying on him. Obviously, everyone tries to chip in. Prime example would be the Firth Park game. I think everyone played their part in that game, our batsmen, and 100%. When a main batsman comes in, you feel a bit more confident. As Bilal, he's an out-and-out batsman. But yeah, I wouldn't say we're heavily reliant on them.
Well, apart from Bilal and Jawad, they have got him on, and he's a match winner. We've seen him throughout,
Hasn't been in the best of form
He hasn't, but
this season.
But he's one
Against the good teams, I mean, he may have scored against some of the weaker bowling attacks, and that's something maybe he can turn around, because he's absolutely. I think he's one of those guys that plays with no fear. He plays in one style which can go in your favour or very much against you.
Would you still go with the same batting lineup, or would you push your man a bit down and let him come in when there's a bit of older ball?
I think there were questions about that during the season as well.
Yeah.
But I think he proved it again in the Firth Park game. He proved it that he's there for a reason. He retired. We needed him to retire, or he just got close to retiring. He played a very good innings we needed from him. I feel like I said before, it can go two ways, but that's how it is. His nature of the game. If it clicks, everyone's laughing, everyone's happy. If it doesn't, then But I think where he is, you have to play him there.
Going back to Shohaib then.
Yeah, I'll bring up the points table for you.
Well, Shohaib, first thing Shohaib, I don't know if you're going to share it or not. Because he's got Edek as a captain now. He's got a lot of players to see. Since obviously Hamza Yunus is back as well from Pakistan. He's got obviously Danish available as well. He's obviously bowling a new player, Raza.
Yeah.
He's a very fine cricketer. Last week he dropped him. Or gave him rest, whichever, either way. So, have you decided who's your 7 going into this game, or is there still a bit of discussion going on?
I have made my mind up. I will be sticking with the same 7 as last week. There will be no change.
I think was it being in the same team. This
is why I want you to
this is a bit of a difficult position I find myself in. But I will ask the tough questions, because I would say there's definitely some players in that team. Namely, this guy known as Adnan. He hasn't been performing too well for you.
So how can exactly?
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to ask you. But obviously, why you have sat next to me?
Playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah. Are you obviously if you do lose, questions going to be asked. Because you're a captain, you're going to take responsibility. Are you obviously picking the side based on friendship, or you picking the side based on merit? Because obviously, like you said, we have got just fine gentleman sat next to me. Obviously, he hasn't performed, and you've got players like Raza or Danish available.
Yeah.
Is it a combination that you're taking, or you just thinking that we're going to go with the winning combination and I'm just going to stick with it?
I think it all comes down to the original squad that Adnan has selected, because it was his team first, which then was given to me.
Was it given or was it taken?
I would say it was.
Because the rumours were, I heard after the game that you lost.
No,
Famous video was released as well, if you remember that.
No, I wouldn't say it was taken, because Adnan did personally get in touch with me and he wanted me to take the team over. Personally, I came into this tournament, I didn't want to be captain. I wanted to play just as a player.
I think for entirely legal reasons at that point.
Yeah, I made my mind from the start I wasn't going to be captain. I enjoyed it last year. Obviously, we had success here, sat in front of me. And I wanted to play in the following tournament just as a player. But obviously, Adnan approached me and I couldn't say no. And alhamdulillah, it's been a good turnaround for my team. We lost 2 games, like you said, like Australia did. And we've managed to make it to the top of the table.
That's very good. No, because I had a conversation with Adnan and he was saying to me, obviously, I don't know if I should be saying it.
Please go ahead.
I'm a very straightforward guy. So obviously he said there was obviously lobbying the team that they wanted to remove him as a captain.
No, none of
So
that.
I don't know, is there any truth
No,
behind
just-
this rumours or is it just a rumour?
just rumours.
Because obviously what I've known, I know you wouldn't do that, but
No.
he said the same as Shane Afridi, they had the W or whatever. So I'll ask the question.
No, I don't know which Adnan you spoke to, but that's
Oh, sorry.
questionable source. Go ahead, Awais.
Just like, come back to the point where you're talking about the squad. We're all friends here, and you gotta give Adnan credit where it's due. Fair enough, he's pleased. Though I'd agree with Shohaib. If I was in his position, I'd play Adnan as well. Not only for, like, it's a squad. Adnan's been there. He's played every game,
Yeah.
and when it clicks, there's no one who can stop him. You can see last year we played in Hillsborough. He was the most destructive batsman. The way he went on Adnan's day, he can destroy anyone. So I would.
Yeah, totally agree.
Even
with
though
you.
he's that opposition,
Totally agree with you.
I
But
agree
just
with
before
Shohaib.
we continue, just say anything. This is a bit of joke, so do not take everything I say seriously.
No.
worries.
But I'm saying as Shohaib,
Yeah,
like,
no,
even though the opponent.
Yeah, I mean, I was going
I
to go to
still
your
agree.
car after this Arfan bhai and give some love to it. But jokes aside, I think the league, the success of his league has been mostly because of captains coming in, bringing in good players to the league, quality players, and a lot of credit has to go to captains across the board. We started in 2017. Arfan bhai, at that time you weren't part of the league, but just a couple of friends who started from Firth Park. And then each of us kind of made our own teams, brought in players from outside, and now it's become something where some of the individuals are actually full-time roles promoting the league. So from what it started to what it has become right now is truly remarkable for me.
100%.
And
Credit.
the success of the league is not just good for us from Firth Park, but I think more wider. If you look at the Pakistani community locally, the British Pakistanis, and we make up majority of it, this is shining a positive light for us. A lot of the times with the British Pakistani community, our names coming up in not maybe the best light, but this is something we're doing, and I think going ahead in the future, we're trying to promote diversity as well, try to get more nationalities involved as well.
This year we have.
Like we've been doing with the under 19. Every team has under 19 player. We even have an under 19 league going now. There's one day of the week where we're bringing new players who are interested in playing, and that's also increasing. There's a lot of interest coming in from social media, etc. So fantastic work from the vice chairman and the chairman himself, Hamza Hussain. But one thing we didn't ask them actually, any final words between Awais? Do you have any message for Shohaib leading up to the semi-final? And you're someone who does normally leave a quote which marks yourself in history. Maybe not in the best light in the last few years.
I mean, look, I think every player on that pitch for that game plays with each other on any other day, outdoor and whatnot. So I think as much as it's going to be a good game, there's going to be a lot of banter going around. It's a good game, and because I feel like it's not a knockout, I think it'll be even better. But obviously, whatever turns up on the day turns up. No last message, shall we say?
Shoaib, are you also going to keep this neutral approach, which seems to have been adopted by all the captains?
Personally, I've got nothing to say against Awais, but for me, as a captain, I've been there, done that. I proved it last season. The evidence is in front of you right here. So I've been in this situation before. I don't feel any pressure. I've got a really good bunch of lads, really good players. We mix well together, and they've all been performing. Especially, I want to say something about Hassan, our youngster. He's opened the batting every game, and he's done really well. Scored nearly 100 runs, I believe, and I think he's the only under 19 to be up there, nearly getting 100 runs, so which is really impressive. And Awais on my left here, and I mean.
No, he means top 10. Hassan is 10, and Awais is number 7 with 90. Only 3-run gap between you and. Fantastic work by these under 19.
100%.
I would say 19
on Fridays as well, Hassan.
Okay.
Fearless player, great player. I think he's done a good job for you guys.
He has done a brilliant job. And
I mean, one thing I want to bring to your attention is this guy here might be a bit of a threat. He has an average of 0 at the moment because he hasn't got out yet.
What I've seen over the last 3 tournaments I've played myself, I think Saqib is one of the finest batsmen in Indo. I mean, the way he plays, he can come in and hit 25 and 4 balls, or he could stay there and score 25 and 10 balls. He just adjusts so well, according to situation. and it's just so calm when he's batting. I've never seen anybody else, you know.
That calm.
It's just so calm, and he's just like, he's brilliant. And then obviously you've got Jawad up there as well. He hasn't clicked this year with batting, but I think he's one of the finest indoor batsmen as well. So it'll be a good competition. But I think, if I were to predict, I think Firvale will overcome Handsworth. This is my prediction, and I think Firth Park will take Burngreave down, because they've just peaked at the right time, and he's got the right combination, if you know, well balanced side. Whereas Awais, I think, is a bit. They're very good side. Don't get me wrong. They're very good, and they're always coming in and they're competing. But I just, like I said, they just don't have the, like South Africa, they just bottle it in the knockout stages. I think it might be just because it's a young side, or it's the pressure that they take. But I think it'll be a good game. But wishing them all 14 best of luck. And all.
Yeah, I mean, personally, being from Firth Park, I would obviously want my team to win. But otherwise, I would be very pleased to see a new champion as well. In the form of, you won the cup, but you haven't won the main league yet. Or Munazam, that's someone's that, personally, I would be happy if either of them even won. Nasser obviously has been successful previously. He's won several times, much like Shohaib. So it's not anything new for him. He just rocks up on the day and performs as need be. But guys, thank you very much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And it's been lovely getting your opinions. Munazam bhai, आपका भी बहुत ज़्यादा खास शुक्रिया.
मुनाज़म भाई, थोड़ा मजाक था.
अरफान भाई ये कहते रहते हैं.
अभी देखो, last year Pajol, we did really well. We made it to final in Cup and League, but we lost. This year I think I struggled financially as a captain, so please next year. So Mal Pani de dena ya please.
We're going to see some rolling credits, at the end. Cricket arena.